Okay, so this will be the beginning of part two. At the end of the other one, um, let's say that was Sunday night. The top side was done except for the apron pieces. So just a lot of little screws. Gotta line up all those that way. Because with this one, it's just a metal panel that just sits on top. It's not a whole kind of like a one piece where it just clips in the front and then you put two screws in the back. This one actually has screws all across here and then across this whole V channel here. So it's just a panel that sits on top. So all those have to be perfectly aligned. Um, so I did that. Let's see, today is Saturday morning. I did that on like Monday. And then, like I said, Sunday is whenever the last video ended. So it's about 4 or 5 days there where I just had other stuff going on. So um, at this point, I'm going to start on just getting all of this loose. Um, Basically, all the screws have to come out. I'll put them into separate bags, just kind of saying like bulbs, switches, just little individual bags. I have, I started doing this a long time ago. Um, that's like just a bunch of random bags from, it's like the Ziploc baggy thing. But this is all just Marco and Pinball Life, and I throw all my extra bags in here and label them with parts. So then I just, as I go through and it's time to do rollover switches. A lot of these had to be, let's say, these rollovers, like right here, those are already loose because I had to get that out of the way because it kind of goes on top of the T-nut for the post for all those guides. So those had to come out. Um, but yeah, at this point, um, yeah, for me, Christmas is in like 5 or 6 days. The New Year's is in, 10, 12 days, whatever. So I'd like to try to I'd like to have this pretty much done by New Year's. And by pretty much done, I want to mean like I'm dialing in switches, everything works. It's just kind of tuning it. Because I'll probably spend like a month tuning it off and on. So that would be my goal: is everything works and assembled before New Year's. So be a fun week, but here we go. The next section, I don't know where I'm going to do the next part. Might just be everything is loose and I'm getting ready to just move. Because what I do is kind of weird. Some people, a lot of people, whatever. I don't know of anybody else that does it how I do it. But to me, it made the most sense in my brain. I've talked about this before. I just get everything loose to where nothing's attached. I put the new playfield right next to it. And the only thing that I unsolder is this because it's going through the playfield. That's the only thing I've ever had to unsolder, like had to, so to speak. Um, but as this is all one piece still, I just take it and I slide it all, like wiggle it all an inch, wiggle it all an inch, then just go back and forth, slide it over to the new playfield, screw it all back down. And then if I want to replace the braid, if I want to replace sockets, if I want to anything like that, any maintenance or anything else I want to do, it's already attached to the new playfield. There's no, oh, where did this go? It's not confusing for me at all. Um, I'm not doing soldering in 100 sockets and then doing the wiring and then doing it's like get it to the new playfield, have it done and working. I don't know, to me, and then it's like all these are all just one little assembly. Then if I want to replace those or I need to whatever, then I do those. If I want to replace the braid, I can literally just go, solder it, unsolder it right there, put the new braid down, and then I just follow the old braid as I put down the new braid. So it's not tracing and stenciling and laying everything out and then having the whole entire playfield done with trace. and then doing all the sockets and then doing all the wiring and then I don't know. It's just to me this seemed like super simple. Just slide it over, bolt it back down as all as one big piece, and then any maintenance or parts that you want to replace after that, go ahead. I just found this. Oh, what that's for. Ah, right there. Yep. Maybe. Oh, that one broke off too. Uh-huh. I gotta look in to see where that's supposed to go, or we got one double trigger. That's weird because that's bent straight up like it was going, like it wasn't going to anything. I'll have to look at the wiring, see what that goes to. White with brown, definitely a trigger for something. Guys, and they're not white to brown. That's part of the slam tilt. I mean that's bent right there, so you can see that's where it goes. That's. I mean, there's even some green insulation on the tang. Where is that supposed to go? It doesn't really reach anything. But obviously, it was like, okay, so I'll have to figure that out. See where everything worked on this game the way it was supposed to. So I'll have to. Okay, I'm just looking. This over here has a double. Then it has. See, there's the double wire, the two wires that match, and then you have the single. So I'm wondering if when this popped off, actually, no, it'd be this one over here. See that right there? If I was just trying to make it look like the other side. So I'll have to look into that. So that could be an outline thing. Um, which, if you don't know, whenever I got this game, a lot of the wiring was bad. Um, they had replaced, they had removed the drop targets. I assume people like to. Firepower was originally supposed to have drop targets, but they did stand ups instead. So a lot of people steal the three bank drop targets um, and put them in firepowers because Stellar Wars isn't as popular as Firepower. I like Stellar Wars more than Firepower, but I'm weird. Um, so some of the wiring has been messed up on this. I had to redo a lot of stuff. I had to find three bank drop targets, which are expensive thanks to Firepower. And then, of course, I did the Troxel kits on them. But then I had to figure all that out because, you had one, two, three switches, but then all three at once is a fourth switch. They had that all rewired to try to get that fourth switch to still work with only three targets. And so I had to put all that back to factory. So, but just looking on how this only has one, and then you have the double, I'm going to extrapolate. And this only has one, which is also orange, and then a double. So I have a feeling since, yeah, but that whole thing needs resoldered. So, okay, well, stuff to keep an eye out for. Um, a lot of the diodes and stuff like that have already all been done on this game, so that's not a big deal. I'm debating on removing these halogens and doing LEDs. I might do that, which then would remove. Usually, you get rid of this because this already has like a big crack in it. This resistor, it's overheating. So I know on like Gorgar and stuff like that, um, whenever you put LEDs in here, you have to get rid of the big fat resistor right there. So that might be the same on this game, about the same era. Okay, actually, I'm going to fix that first while I'm thinking about it. And then I'm going to start removing all the screws and bagging them up. So part one, 10 minutes. So good enough. See you guys later. Okay. It's still Saturday. It's just now Saturday after lunch. Um, I probably stopped around 11 o'clock, took off a couple hours, and got groceries, lunch, all that stuff. Um, Came in here, finished it up. Uh, as you can see now, everything, nothing is bolted down. All the staples are removed. Everything's just loose. So everything. Then I got it all into separate bags, like lamps, wiring, switches, all that stuff is all separate. Um, so at this point, it's pretty much ready to just slide over to the, so I'll take the playfield out of the cab. A lot of times I just set it on the floor, set up some blocks so it's not, because the pop bumpers, this one I took out just fine, but the other ones have Mylar on them. They used a different ring or something, so the nails that stick through are going to stay in here. I'm going to leave those in. Um, so, because I don't want to rip the Mylar off and deal with that. So, it was just weird. The first one I did didn't have Mylar, but then all the others do. So I don't know if they ran off or someone pulled it off. I'll look at it more whenever I get it stripped and can see the other side. Um, so besides that, I say besides that a lot. Yeah, this is prepped. We've got stuff to do this evening, so um, tomorrow morning, um, I will slide this over to the new playfield, start mounting everything down. I just put the flippers in here like this. That way it just kind of keeps the plunger and everything from twisting and possibly falling out. But I mean, obviously it's just sitting there. Um, and then like on switches, I leave the 2 screws in there and I just wrap it with a piece of electrical tape, because if you let the screws come out, sometimes all these different layers, you know how that's like 4 layers right there with the metal on each end, that'll just all fall apart sometimes. Um, so this one is part of the bracket, so I can leave it on there. That's not a big deal. But all of these, yeah, you just got to wrap them around once with electrical tape. Just because, let me see if you can see on this one. See how many layers that is? If you take those 2 screws out, all those layers can just fall apart. So give it a quick little wrap. Um, no big deal. Um, the GI lamps, I've always take a Dremel with like a wire brush on it and clean out the inside, but the outside of a bunch of these are just white. So I do have a pretty big bag of, because these are just used in every game ever. So um, once it's resting in the new playfield, um, before I start stapling everything down, I'll go ahead and I'll replace all the GI sockets. They all worked, because like I said, you just clean them out. But these I might have to get. I'm not sure if I have the 3-prong ones. But see, that's white on the outside, so I might end up. Man, that's a lot of them. Um, yeah, so I could probably order like 40 of the, because not all of them are like that. Like that one's just a 1-prong. Then all the others are 3. So the 3-prong ones, I could probably just get like 40 of them. Be good. The single-prong ones like this that are used in Bally's, or I guess in this case in Williams, like that. I have a bag of those, and I have a bag of the standard. Like, I would almost call those like back box, because those are what's in the back box for everything. Back box, I got a ton of those. Um, but that is about it. Everything is loose. Everything's ready to go. Um, just thought I'd give you a little quick. Of course, seeing just like that, it's 5 minutes already. So that's wrap up for Saturday. And tomorrow I will put this onto the new one tomorrow morning. So, yay, going good. Okay, so it's Sunday morning. Um, I've got that completely prepped. I've got all the holes drilled for the pop bumpers. That's all ready to go. That's 100% loose, everything. So basically, I'm just going to take all that, slide it over to there. It is going to be annoying because, well, A, there's a lot of stuff. But also, like the pop bumper nails, because there's 5 sets of pop bumpers. They have Mylar on them, so I can't push them out. So I can't really drag it. I'm gonna have to lift it up and constantly scoot it, because it's gonna get caught on a lot of those nails that are still in there that I'm not taking out because of Mylar. So here we go. I'm gonna say realistically, this should only take me, about like 10 minutes to have it on there. So I'm just gonna sit there and just scoot it over, scoot it over, scoot it over, and just go back and forth. Just wiggle it over. Fun, fun. Okay, just did my first time lapse video for you guys. That way you could actually see it be done. Not that it isn't obvious what needed to be done, but I did it pretty short because I'm not sure I'm going to try to even put music over it or anything like that. So it'll just be about 30 seconds of me crawling around on my hands and knees. Everything went pretty good. It was a little bit more annoying because, like I said, you have the nails still sticking out, like those 3 there, those 3 there, those 3. You got a bunch of nails sticking out. So, and obviously, like I said, this is a lot more wiring than like a Paragon, which is the same ultra wide, 27-inch. Um, so just there's so much wires going on. The only thing I need to use my phone for, which is why I'm turning off the time lapse, there was a braided wire over here that was really long, and it got pulled underneath something. I didn't catch it until it was pulled over like all the way to here. So I got to work on looking at photos and seeing where that braided wire goes. But in general, uh, everything's where it needs to be. Um, I just need to start bolting stuff down because like the slings, those coils won't stand up on their own. So I need to kind of put those brackets together, screw those down. Um, and then I've got about, I don't know, 200 screws I got to do here. But we are officially done with that playfield. Nothing else. It's not going to be involved in anything from this point on. Um, that's about it. The pop bumper body's still on there, but I got new ones for that one. I was tired of trying to reach under there to do those 2 screws, but and then I need to install just like at least 1 nail real quick on the 5 pop bumpers so I can mount those brackets down. Um, and then I was just kind of going through and just see if I can zoom in here. Just trying to line up all the bulbs with all the sockets. In there it gets a little messy, a little tight, but that's why I need to start bolting them up. I had to make my own bracket because, like I said, none of this stuff is pre-drilled, so I can't just line it up with the screw holes from the factory or anything. Um, and then the coil brackets for the flippers are kind of orientated a little bit weird because I had to make them fit. So I got to kind of look at my pictures before I start screwing all this stuff down. But um, everything's in place where it needs to go. So just GI. I'll swap out those sockets before I start stapling stuff down. Get a lot of it screwed down. I need to get this into the cabinet because on the floor, bent over, can't trying to use both hands to screw stuff down. Trying to be bent over, that's not going to work for me. So I need to lift this up, put it in the cab, and then start mounting everything. Okay, so thought I'd do another little update here because when I'm doing the bottom of the playfield, it's just kind of hard to be like, what are you interested in type of thing. So it is Christmas morning. Um, had a little bit of free time before we got to head out to the next place. So I've been down here working on, well, today I've been working on assembling the pop bumpers. The top is completely done. As you can see, I got the coil wired up there. I had to resolder that. Got the flippers on the right side of the playfield, correct side of the playfield. Everything is going on. So what I did was I had to pre-drill the holes for the nails, put the nails through that have the machine thread to them for the pop bumpers. So you can kind of see them poking through a little bit right there. And then after I put the nails down, Countersunk those, made sure that they were flush to the top of the playfield. Got the brackets all mounted down, torqued down. Let them sit for a while. Double check the torque, just making sure it doesn't like compress. And then I actually go over the top of the nails with a little bit of acrylic clear coat just to try to fill that in a little bit, make it a little bit smoother. And then I went back and I did some mylar rings. It is clear coated, but still you're going to end up with scuffs and stuff. These I had to like, these are just like half moons or half circles, you know, for the mylar here. And then I take a like a 1 inch uh, or just a big open end rent, whatever. Let me just grab it and show you. So I take a big one of these guys. It's nice and smooth. Um, and then I just wrap it with a microfiber a couple of times. And I just kind of sit here and just press it in. I feel like it helps get rid of a lot of the fogginess. Because I'll push on that as hard as I can with my finger and it still looks foggy. Then with a microfiber, I'll just come back. Basically, it's almost like you're coloring it in. You just draw on the whole entire thing. And with a microfiber, make sure you don't scratch it type of thing. And that ends up just getting this really clear. And that's what I had to do on like my Lost World and stuff. So it's kind of my little way I do it, whatever. So I installed the spinners today. They need aligned a little bit, but they're in there. They work. The other spinners up here. So they're hooked up to the switches now. I was trying out a couple different colors for the pop bumper skirts. Originally, they're white. I thought maybe red would look good. I don't know. Wasn't really feeling it, maybe because it was different. Because I do have the clear, well, the transparent blue caps that go on there that light up and down. So I got so it does have blue caps that goes on there. And then I put these are supposed to plug into a socket, but I don't use the socket. I get rid of it and I just do this solid core copper on here and slide that through. Because if you ever want to do work on it anyway, the socket has to be unsoldered. So why would you have a socket that's giving you issues to the bulb? So I just soldered the bulb straight to the wires, slide that down. So, but I replaced these because they were in here before and they kind of get, by the time you bend them over, solder on them, cut on them, you know, they just kind of end up, and you pulling them out again, they're all just kind of bent up. And, you know, it took me 5 minutes to wire on some new solder joints on there. So that's done. What I have to do next, I just got done doing the little slam rings there for the pop bumpers. Skirts are on. So I think at this point, the only thing I have left to do is wire in the bulbs for the pop bumpers. And then the whole entire assembly for the spoon. Now that the skirt is in there, I can align the spoon. They are adjustable to a point, but since this has no pre-drilled or markings or nothing, I wanted to have the skirt, that little needle tip. It kind of looks like a golf tee pointing down. I need to have that in the middle of the spoon, so that way my adjustability is as good as it can get, front to back, before I put any screws in at all. So that way, if I need to go a little left or a little right, I'm kind of starting centered as possible here before I drill those screws. Yeah, put those screws in. So let me go ahead and flip this over, and I can kind of show you the bottom. Okay, so there we go. Been going through, like I said, everything stapled down, all the braided wire, screwing down the harnesses. What I still need to do is, like right here, this is what I was talking about, little spoon. So I need to align the spoon on that peg, make sure it's perfectly centered, and then just screw it down. So the wiring stuff is already done because I didn't undo it. So I got to do 5 of those, and then right here, this is one of the wires for the bulbs, and then the other one I think is like yellow and black. Yeah, you got your yellow and black here. So I got the 2 bulbs there, yellow and black for this one. So I just got to do 2 wires and also 10 wires need soldered on. Let's see. Yeah, I've just been going through. Once I kind of get done with everything, I do want to replace I want to see just getting rid of that resistor and doing two LEDs because that's what I had to do on a Gorgar. I think I have those LEDs in stock. Um, let's see. I don't know. Just a lot of screwing stuff down, mounting everything. So you can kind of see that's one of the bulbs that I added for the GI. So I just soldered that onto this braided wire that was already going across, and then I just have my little solid core wire coming over to this one. So they can't fit all the way in though. I can't have these flush. They have to be raised up a little bit because they're wanting to hit the metal bracket on the other side. So, but yeah, I've just been going through. Obviously, once I turn this on and get going, all the rollovers will probably need adjusted. Every switch is going to need dialed in a little bit. I've been trying to, like, as I screw them down, pay attention a little bit, make sure, okay, it's closed, and then I flip it or it's open, I flip it and it closes, or vice versa, or whatever needs done. So there's like the other diode for that light. This is coming over. It might go straight to this one. Or the other. Nope. Let's go straight to that one. Yep. Black with yellow. That's the other bulb wire. So it's right there. Hops to the one wire will stick out here for the pop bumper light. The other one will come over here to this one. Oh, but don't know how much more I'll get done today. It is Christmas. We got stuff going on. So we had a little bit of a break before we head off to families. So there we go. That's about it for today. Fun. We are getting close. And let's see. Yeah, tomorrow I got some work on a car I got to do tomorrow, but then I still have all of Friday open. So, um, yeah, I just got to fix tomorrow. I got to fix a sensor on the front bumper of my car. I hit a deer and it popped the sensor. I'd barely hit him, but it just kind of popped the sensor, parking sensor into the front bumper. So now it thinks whenever I'm driving that I'm about to hit something. So the alarm's going off unless I there's a little button on the dash. You just turn the sensor off. Usually that's for like drive through is when you use that button. But yeah, so I just need to take the front bumper off and epoxy that sensor back into place. So fun, but that's going to be tomorrow. That's what I planned for at least. And then Friday I can finish this up. Saturday I know some buddies are coming over to hang out. So there we go. See you later. Next one might literally just be, hey, it works. So because this is going to be a lot of, I'll probably do one just kind of the first turn on and show it just kind of what issues may pop up. Not much wiring was done here, so like like unless a wire broke, which I have found a couple and I've fixed those already. But unless a wire broke off, it's mainly going to be adjusting switches. So fun. See you later. Okay, here it is. This will be the end of part 2. At this point, everything that I've tested so far works. I did run into an issue. Well, at first I was like, it has no audio. I was trying to figure out what was going on. The plug inside the neck was still unplugged. I missed that one. And the other problem was I noticed whenever you hit this far left target, tilt would go off and it would kill you instantly. If you remember, whenever I bought this a while back, I've had this one for actually a little bit for once. It had stand-up targets in it, and a lot of the wiring had been redone and messed up. Obviously, I put new drops in it, and I redid all that, and I had fixed everything except for one little thing. This outlane over here did not work, and this outlane and that outlane do the same thing. So they don't vary back and forth, whatever, they don't change. They do the exact same thing all the time. So I just ran a jumper from that switch over to that switch, ran fine. So it's been like that forever. Whenever I was doing the Playfield swap, I found a broken wire, fixed the broken wire, thinking it happened during the Playfield swap. It did not. So my jumper wire was interfering with that, and basically was part of I thought it'd be part of the column, but it was part of the row. So if you look at the switch matrix, so I removed my jumper wire, resoldered on the factory wire back where it was that I'd found the other day, and that is all now back to factory. Jumper wires over there on the table. So this is done. I'll do the next video kind of looking over it because some of you, that just watch my channel and don't actually come to my house. This is an original cab. Everything's original on here. Um, it has some scuffs, but I actually have not touched up anything on this. So even like, there's like a couple little dots up there. Get my hand on there. Couple little scuff marks that I will touch up, whatever, before this goes back into the room. But the rest of this has never been stenciled. This is all original. Um, I had to clean it. It had some stains and stuff on the side, but yeah, this game as a whole is just in great shape. I need to get all the fingerprints and stuff off there, but one thing I did find that my wife actually doesn't know about yet. She's always complained about how sharp the edges are on the original. Let me grab it. Let me. So close enough for now. But see, this is very sharp. So my original thought was, I was looking into it. I was like, what if I did like a Bally receiver and lock bar and stuff like that? Because they have a nice rounded edge, just like the normal games. I actually found, I don't know if it was for a certain game or like it was an option or whatever, but of course, the seller was calling it super rare rounded lock bar for early SS Williams games. So this whole thing is rounded on here like you would normally find. Um, it was supposed to already be here. I was going to give it to her for Christmas. It did not show up. USPS is, they sit on it in St. Louis for at least a week before it leaves St. Louis. So hopefully that'll be here in a couple days. I'll do some gameplay video of it and just kind of give you a final walk around. But for now, this is the end of part 2. Thanks for watching. Everything's going good. Sound works. All the LEDs work. Yeah, I mean, I do have a couple GIs that are still not working, so those sockets will get replaced, even though they've been cleaned out with like a board brush and stuff. They're still acting a little flaky, like this one right here. This one's still acting up. So, and there's not even one in that one, so I gotta put that one in there. Missed it. So little things, got to go over it, but I'll have to tear it down just to put it back in the arcade because I got to stand this up and turn it and go like base on one side, glass on the other to get it through. So I got to take this whole thing apart just to move it again. So, but there you go. Thanks for watching. I guess you're supposed to like and subscribe. I never say that because I don't care. But there you go. See you later.